Alright, so I'm sure by now you've heard the news, but if not, whoo boy, buckle up boys and girls because it's a bit of a doozy. Controversy and the Pokemon Company have kinda gone hand in hand lately, but let's unpack the situation a little bit. So the big announcement during the second Pokemon Presents presentation was for an upcoming free-to-start game called Pokemon Unite. It's essentially a Pokemon MOBA game in the same vein as, League of Legends or Dota 2, and people are not happy to say the least. So I'll run down the highlights real quick, and then at the end I'll give my take on it. So yeah, it's a MOBA-style Pokemon game, or as Ishihara put it, it's a strategic team-based Pokemon battle game. The game is developed by Tencent, which is an issue in itself that we'll discuss later, but essentially the game runs with two teams of 5 players on each team. Each player on each team chooses a Pokemon to play as, and each Pokemon has their own little unique skills, abilities, moves, strengths, and weaknesses. There are no type advantages, which is kind of disappointing in my opinion since that's such a large part of Pokemon, but no need to worry about that when selecting your Pokemon. The battle arena is divided in half with 5 goals or bases on each side. The object is to gather up points for your team by catching or defeating wild Pokemon, and then standing in one of your enemy's bases for a bit to register the points you've gathered to your team's score. Your Pokemon also levels up as they defeat other Pokemon and will learn new moves and even evolve as they level up, which I think is really cool. Each Pokemon also has a unique Unite move, which is basically a superpowered move that can just wreak havoc if used properly. HP can also be recovered by retreating to one of your own team's bases and just resting there for a few seconds. If your Pokemon is defeated, you'll respawn after a period of time has passed, and points scored in the final 2 minutes are worth double. After the time is up, the team with the most points wins the game. The concept is simple enough, I think. The game was labeled highly accessible with deep gameplay. I can see the highly accessible part as the game is free to start and available on mobile, which nearly everyone has, and Switch, and it even allows crossplay between Switch and mobile devices. The deep gameplay aspect, on the other hand, I don't quite see yet. I'm sure we haven't seen everything though, but so far it seems fairly shallow. They didn't give a release date though, or any information on when it might be released at all, so who knows how far along they are with everything, but we'll see how that pans out. Okay, so people are not too thrilled about this, and I can totally see why. Firstly, I think the reveal was just poorly handled. There's just way too much hype drummed up for it. After the last minute reveal of the Pokemon Snap sequel at the end of the last presentation, followed up by a, "Oh hey, and tune in next week for another presentation," only to reveal a free-to-play mobile game, the whole situation just gives me serious Diablo Immortal vibes, which is already not a good thing to be compared to. The video is very disliked with nearly 200,000 dislikes and only around 100,000 likes currently, so that's not good. Tencent is also very disliked for various and very valid reasons. They're often accused of releasing games that are absurdly similar to the competitors, to the point where they almost feel like exact copies of other games, just reskinned and ever so slightly tweaked. Additionally, they're known for some other shady business practices and some iffy political alignments that I won't get into because that can be a bit of a touchy discussion, but you can Google it if you want. There's also the issue of the fact that it's free to start, which it's great that it's free because judging by the amount of dislikes the reveal video has garnered, I highly doubt that many people would pay for this game. However, it's going to be interesting to learn how they'll implement monetization given Tencent's past history with that kind of thing. On a more optimistic note, at least for the game's success itself, MOBAs can be huge hits. League of Legends is extremely popular among others, and Pokemon is already extremely popular as it's the highest grossing media franchise of all time. Combine these two and it could be a huge deal. That being said, I think if this was released when MOBAs were at their peak like 5 or so years ago, it would be even bigger, but I think it still has a lot of potential just given the franchise and genre combination. So I don't really quite know how I feel personally yet. I honestly thought it was going to be a Switch version of the Pokemon trading card game, given how the trailer started, which would have been awesome. So I was already let down from that. I was also sort of hoping for some updates on Detective Pikachu and really hoping for some sort of Johto version of the Let's Go games, or even a Gen 4 remake that everyone's been hoping for. I'm going to try to take a wait and see approach as I try to do with everything though. I try really hard not to make knee-jerk reactions to games based on such little information, because I don't want my expectations to sway a certain way before I've even played the game. Preconceived notions in gaming can really ruin the overall experience. Now, I've never really delved too much into the MOBA genre. I tried League of Legends and it just never really stuck with me. But anybody who knows me though knows I adore everything Pokemon. And if you just slap those lovable pocket monsters in or on anything, I'm gonna give it a go. So I'm trying to be excited about this. I can see how this game could be fun, and I generally tend to be a bit more positive about games than the general public, it seems. So take that with a grain of salt. A quick little side note to all of this. The most interesting thing of that 11-minute video was just how much this one guy loves Pichu, and I'm so down with that. Anyways guys, share your opinions if you'd like. I'd love to hear what all you think about this. Given that the game will be free, I'll definitely give it a shot and maybe even do a review video on it when it releases, whenever that'll be. Let's hope the general consensus of this being a disaster are way overblown and that this will actually be a fantastic game. I'm all for more great games, as I think everybody is, so regardless of the much deserved controversy, I'll try to be a little hopeful at least. Alright guys, take care, be excellent to each other, and I'll catch you all later.